Well, for more on this, let's speak to Ramzy Baroud. He's the editor of the Palestine Chronicle and the author of several Palestinian-focused books. Good to speak to you. So why is Israel pursuing expansion at this particular point?
They are taking advantage, of course, of the fact that the Trump administration has given them a blank check, if you will. There is no accountability. There is no so-called peace process. There is no negotiations. There is no deadlines of any kind. And there is relentless expansion of settlements throughout the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and also the relentless destruction of Palestinian properties and homes. 2016 and 17 have seen the most amount of destruction that has befallen Palestinian properties in East Jerusalem in particular. So this is really a golden opportunity for Netanyahu to push as hard as he needs to in his right-wing policies to expand the settlements and to seize control of Jerusalem.
So it has a lot of impact by the US.
Of course, tremendous impact by the United States. The fact that the President of the United States made it clear very early on that he intends to move the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, even if he hasn't done so yet. Just politically speaking, it's all the incentives that Netanyahu would need to understand that Jerusalem is now his own domain, and he can do with it as he pleases, and there's absolutely no pressure whatsoever coming from Washington at this point.
And a senior Palestinian official, Hanan Ashrawi, says this expansion will end the two-state solution. How accurate is that?
Well, actually, technically, the two-state solution is no longer possible anyway. Since Oslo was signed in 1993, the number of Jewish settlements tripled, the number of settlers tripled in the occupied Palestinian lands. Israel violated every international law in that regard. So practically speaking, there can't be a two-state solution to start with. But what Hanan Ashrawi is referring to specifically here is that according to the Oslo agreement, Jerusalem was to be left to a final status negotiations. It means that no one can change the status of Jerusalem or any other pending issues until this final status negotiation takes place. It never took place, and Israel is now kind of carrying a de facto arrangement of a final status, its own final status outlook in Palestine the way it sees fit. If Israel does so, and it will do so, there can be, even from a technical point of view, there can be no negotiations regarding Jerusalem or a two-state solution.
Hamas and Fatah agreed to reconcile recently. Will this put the Palestinians in a stronger or weaker position?
It really all depends on what is the underlying value of their unity. If it's a factional arrangement aimed at sharing fake prestige and fake sovereignty over an occupied land, then nothing good will come out of it. But if indeed this is the first step towards national reconciliation of the Palestinian people in the West Bank, Gaza, and Jerusalem, and Palestinians living in Israel and in diaspora, towards a new outlook for the PLO and the Palestine National Council, then maybe we are on the right track towards formulating a new national strategy in which we have to respond to this situation in Jerusalem, but to the situation elsewhere, in the siege in Gaza and the expansion of settlements in the West Bank as well.